Cops handcuff black woman general for talking back. One call to Pentagon ends their careers. Before we dive in, remember to hit that subscribe button and let me know your city in the comments. Enjoy the story time. The fluorescent lights of the checkpoint cast harsh shadows across Lieutenant Morgan's face as she rolls down her window. Her modest sedan idles at the roadblock, one of many that have appeared throughout Riverside in recent months. The officer approaching wears a practiced scowl beneath his campaign hat. License and registration. Officer Davis's flashlight sweeps across her face with unnecessary aggression. General Rebecca Morgan reaches slowly, deliberately, for her glove compartment. "May I ask the purpose of this checkpoint, officer?" Davis stiffens. "Routine verification, license, now." She hands over her driver's license, watching as his expression shifts when he reads her address. "Oakmont resident," he says into his radio, his tone dripping with implications she knows all too well. Oakmont, the predominantly black neighborhood on Riverside's east side. The neighborhood where her mother raised her, where she bought her first house before her military career took her around the world, where she still keeps an apartment because it's home. "Is there a problem with my identification?" Rebecca asks, keeping her voice level professional. "Wait here." Davis walks back to the patrol car, and Rebecca watches through her rearview mirror as he shows her license to another officer. They both turn to stare at her vehicle, and one laughs. Captain Shane Harper emerges from the command vehicle, his bulk moving with territorial authority. He approaches her window with deliberate slowness. "Step out of the vehicle, ma'am. The formality carries no respect." "May I ask why?" "My license is valid, my registration current." "Step out now." Harper's hand rests on his service weapon. "Enhanced search protocol." Rebecca knows the law better than most. Enhanced search requires reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. "What's your suspicion, Captain?" Harper's jaw tightens. "Out of the car." She complies, movements measured and calm. "I'd like to note that this appears to be selective enforcement." "We decide what's selective," Harper says, hands on the hood. "I decline consent to search my vehicle without probable cause." Rebecca's voice remains steady. Terry versus Ohio and Delaware versus Prowse established clear guidelines. "Look at the lawyer here," Davis mocks, moving closer. "Thinks she knows the law." "I'm familiar with my Fourth Amendment rights." Harper steps into her personal space. "Your kind always want to make things difficult." "My kind?" Rebecca raises an eyebrow. "Troublemakers," Harper clarifies, but the meaning hangs transparent in the humid evening air. Other drivers watch from their cars. Some hold up phones, recording. Harper notices, gesturing sharply to another officer. "Clear these vehicles through. No recordings." Rebecca observes Officer Martinez approaching cars, making people put phones away. She commits each face to memory, each badge number, each license plate. "Last chance," Harper says. "Consent to search or face obstruction charges." "I respectfully decline and request a supervisor." Harper's smile is cold. "I am the supervisor," he signals to Davis. "Detain her." Davis grabs Rebecca's arm, twisting it behind her back. Pain shoots through her shoulder, familiar from combat training but sharper because of its injustice. "Stop resisting," Davis shouts, though she stands perfectly still. "I'm not resisting," Rebecca says clearly, creating an audio record. "I'm complying under protest." Harper moves closer. "You don't tell us how to do our jobs." Rebecca notices Davis's body camera. The red recording light blinks off. "Your body camera appears to be malfunctioning, Officer Davis." "Mind your own business." Davis tightens his grip, and Rebecca's military training surges through her muscles. She could disable both officers in under 3 seconds, but that's not why she's here tonight. "I'll be filing a formal complaint," she says instead. Harper laughs. "Good luck with that. Councilman Gregory Patterson personally oversees checkpoint operations. Your complaint goes straight to his trash can." Rebecca's watch presses against her wrist. The military-grade device captures every word, every admission, evidence accumulating. Metal cuffs bite into her wrists, deliberately too tight. Rebecca Morgan, you're under arrest for obstruction of justice and resisting a lawful checkpoint inspection. As they force her into the back of the cruiser, she glances at the checkpoint. Officer Martinez waves another Oakmont resident toward additional screening. 3 cars with white drivers pass through without stopping. The pattern is clear. The evidence is mounting, and in exactly 43 minutes everything will change. The interrogation room smells of stale coffee and industrial cleaner. Rebecca sits straight-backed in an uncomfortable metal chair, her hands still cuffed. 2 hours have passed since her arrest. Captain Harper enters, carrying her confiscated belongings. He drops them on the table with theatrical casualness. Victoria Taylor, Oakmont address, no priors. He looks up. First time being educated about checkpoint compliance. I'd like to speak with an attorney. Soon enough, Harper circles the table like a predator. We're just having a conversation first. I invoke my right to counsel. Rebecca's voice remains level. Harper ignores her. See, we have a problem in this town. People who don't respect authority. People who think rules don't apply to them. He leans against the wall. Checkpoints keep Riverside safe. Some folks don't like being checked. Those folks usually have something to hide. Rebecca remains silent. Her training included resistance to interrogation. Harper's amateur tactics wouldn't break a first-year cadet. Nothing to say. Harper flips through her wallet, pulling out her military ID. He studies it, then snorts. Marine Corps General, 4 stars. He tosses it on the table. Nice fake, adding impersonating military personnel to your charges. That identification is authentic. Harper laughs. Right, and I'm the Secretary of Defense. His phone buzzes. He checks the screen, nods slightly. Our concerned citizen is here. Someone wants to meet the latest checkpoint troublemaker. Through the thin walls, Rebecca hears a new voice, authoritative, impatient. Another one from that neighborhood. It must be Councilman Patterson. Yes, sir, Harper responds. Gave us the usual constitutional speech. Had a fake military ID too. Military, Patterson sounds interested. What branch? Marines, claims to be a general. Patterson's laugh carries through the wall. Get what you need and process her. Make an example. These checkpoint resistors are undermining the whole program. Rebecca notices the one-way mirror. She can feel Patterson watching from the other side. The door opens. Detective Samuel Chen enters, his expression shifting from professional to confused as he takes in the scene. Captain Chen says carefully, "A moment outside." Harper hesitates, then follows. Their whispered conversation grows heated. Chen returns alone, picking up Rebecca's military ID. He examines it closely. "Ma'am," he addresses her directly, "may I ask your name and rank?" General Rebecca Morgan, United States Marine Corps. Chen straightens instinctively. Military bearing doesn't fade with time. Captain Chen calls through the door. This ID has proper security features. The holographic seal, microprinting, UV watermarks, all authentic military issue. Harper returns, confidence wavering. It's a good fake. No, sir. I served before joining the department. This is genuine. Chen places the ID carefully on the table. Sir, these are 4 stars. That's the highest rank in the Marine Corps. There are only a handful in the entire military. The phone on the wall suddenly rings. Harper answers and his face drains of color. From where, his voice cracks, the Pentagon. The room falls silent. They knew she was here, Harper says weakly after hanging up. Councilman Patterson storms into the interrogation room. His expensive suit and championship ring gleam under the harsh lights. If you are military, Patterson says to Rebecca, surely we can resolve this misunderstanding amicably. The phone was Colonel Rodriguez from the Pentagon, Harper interrupts. They've confirmed her identity, and they're sending representatives here now. They specifically mentioned your checkpoint program, sir. Patterson's political mask cracks. He turns to Rebecca, understanding dawning. This wasn't a coincidence, he says slowly. Your presence at the checkpoint. Rebecca meets his gaze steadily. This isn't a game, Councilman. It's an investigation. Investigation into what? Systematic civil rights violations through discriminatory checkpoint practices, targeting minority neighborhoods, violating Fourth Amendment protections, implementing quotas based on race and district. Ridiculous accusations. Documented accusations, Rebecca corrects. 6 months of monitoring your checkpoint program, gathering evidence, building a case, and now that case is complete. Patterson's political composure shatters completely. The station's phones begin ringing, multiple lines lighting up across desks. Pentagon, DOJ, Governor's Office. Chen unlocks Rebecca's handcuffs. My apologies, General. A military officer in full dress uniform enters, followed by 2 MPs. The eagle insignia identifies him as Colonel Rodriguez. General Morgan, he salutes crisply. Colonel, thank you for the prompt response. Rodriguez turns to Patterson. Sir, please remain in the station. My team will have questions for you shortly. The station fills with activity. Military personnel set up equipment. Computer specialists access the department's systems. Evidence collection teams secure records. This response seems excessive for a simple detention issue, Patterson protests weakly. Rebecca stands, straightening her civilian clothes. This isn't about my detention, Councilman. It's about what my detention represents. The conference room transforms into a command center. Digital displays show checkpoint locations throughout Riverside, all strategically positioned between Oakmont and wealthy neighborhoods. Chen follows with case files. General, I've brought the internal documentation. Thank you, Detective. Your assistance is invaluable. Patterson and Harper are escorted in, seated away from each other. Davis joins them, confusion evident on his face. Rebecca stands at the head of the table. Gentlemen, 6 months ago, the Pentagon received multiple complaints about a police checkpoint program targeting minority neighborhoods in Riverside. Initial review suggested Fourth Amendment violations. Further investigation revealed something more disturbing. She activates the main display. A map appears, showing checkpoint arrest statistics. Red dots cluster exclusively in minority neighborhoods. Selective enforcement. Checkpoint stops resulting in searches, 89% minority drivers. Arrests from those stops, 94% minority citizens. Harper shifts uncomfortably. Crime statistics justify deployment. Traffic violations occur at equal rates across demographics, Rebecca interrupts. Yet your checkpoint program produced these results. Internal police emails appear on screen. Captain Harper, this is your message to officers dated March 12th. Focus on vehicles from Oakmont. Higher yield for arrests. Harper pales. Context is provided by your arrest quotas, Rebecca continues, displaying another document, specifically targeting Oakmont residents. Patterson interrupts. General, these operational details were handled by the police department. As councilman, I merely approve the program concept. Rebecca displays a new document. Patterson's signature appears at the bottom of detailed checkpoint operating procedures. This directive specifies targeting specific neighborhoods. Your signature authorizes racial profiling. Patterson's facade cracks completely. This is a witch hunt. This is accountability. Rebecca turns to Chen. Detective, please share what you found. Chen steps forward. 6 months ago, I noticed troubling patterns. When I raised concerns through proper channels, I was reassigned. I continued documenting discrepancies. He opens his file. Checkpoint officers were instructed to use different standards based on drivers' race and residence. Rebecca plays body cam footage. Harper appears, instructing officers before a checkpoint deployment. Remember, Oakmont cars get the full treatment. Make the stop stick. The investigation continues into the night. In a quiet corner, Rebecca finds Chen reviewing files. "Detective, your assistance has been crucial." Chen looks up, exhaustion etched on his face. "I should have done more sooner." "You did what you could within a corrupt system. That takes courage." Chen hesitates. 3 months ago, my nephew came to visit. He was stopped at a checkpoint, detained for hours. No charges, just intimidation. He stares at his hands. He's a medical resident, drives a nice car. But they only saw an Asian man in the wrong neighborhood. Rebecca nods. "That's why I'm here. Sometimes the system needs external pressure to change." "What happens to the officers, to Patterson?" "Justice," Rebecca says simply. "Due process. The same rights they denied others. And the people they wrongfully arrested, part of the remedy includes case reviews, expungements, compensation. Your nephew's case will be among them." Chen wipes his eyes quickly. "This isn't just about today, is it, General?" "No, it's about every day before this and every day that comes after." "What's our next step?" "Evidence compilation. Your testimony will be crucial before the federal grand jury." "I'm ready." For the first time since her arrest, Rebecca smiles. "I know." Dawn breaks over Riverside Police Station. The parking lot fills with government vehicles. FBI agents join military investigators. Justice Department attorneys arrive with subpoenas. Inside the conference room, evidence boards cover the walls. Computer screens display data analyses. Legal teams prepare documents. Colonel Rodriguez enters. "General, the Secretary of Defense sends his regards. The investigation has been elevated to Joint Task Force status." "Excellent, let's proceed with the full briefing." The room fills with senior officials. Military, federal, state. The governor's representative sits near the Attorney General's deputy. Rebecca takes position at the head of the table. "Ladies and gentlemen, what started as a civil rights monitoring operation has revealed systematic constitutional violations and abuse of power." She activates the main display. Dash cam footage appears, vehicles from Oakmont stopped at checkpoints. Drivers, professional and polite, ordered from cars without cause. Searches conducted without consent. Arrests for obstruction when they question the legality. Split-screen footage shows the disparity. White drivers pass through with cursory checks. Black drivers from Oakmont face extended detentions, searches, frequent arrests. White drivers were stopped at 8% frequency. Black drivers at 82%. Patterson interrupts. "Selective editing can create false patterns." "These are your department's unaltered recordings, Councilman. Complete timestamps intact." She displays a heat map of checkpoint placements. Checkpoints were exclusively positioned to intercept residents leaving minority neighborhoods, particularly Oakmont. Audio files play next. Harper's voice fills the room. "Councilman wants more arrests from Oakmont. Make it happen." Davis responds, "Even without cause." Harper, "Find cause. Broken taillight, failure to signal. Get them out of the car. You'll find something." Another recording. Patterson's voice. "The checkpoint program serves two purposes. Public safety is what we tell the press. Property values is why we're really doing it. Keep the element where it belongs, in Oakmont, not in our neighborhoods." Patterson sinks into his chair. "My military-grade watch recorded our entire interaction last night," Rebecca explains, "including unguarded comments when you thought I couldn't hear." Documentary evidence appears. Internal emails, text messages, official memoranda. Department statistics showing arrest rates by race, search rates by neighborhood, conviction outcomes by demographic. But the most damning evidence comes from the program's origin. City planning documents appear. Property developer communications with Patterson. Financial records. Councilman Patterson received substantial contributions from developers looking to revitalize Oakmont, Rebecca explains. Their development strategy required displacing current residents, checkpoint harassment designed to pressure Oakmont residents to leave, property values driven down, developers positioned to purchase at depressed prices. Patterson's attorney whispers urgently. Patterson ignores him. This is fabricated, a politically motivated attack. The evidence speaks for itself. Rebecca nods to Chen, who connects his USB drive. Detective Chen conducted his own internal investigation, documenting checkpoint operations from within. Chen stands. I collected evidence of quotas targeting specific neighborhoods, documented systematic civil rights violations, recorded instructions to ignore constitutional protections. His files appear on screen. Officer performance reviews tied to Oakmont arrest numbers, checkpoint schedules targeting black churches, community centers, businesses. Most critically, Chen continues, I discovered that complaints about checkpoint practices were systematically buried. He displays the evidence. Complaint forms marked resolved without investigation, witness statements altered, video evidence deleted. This operation wasn't about my personal detention, Rebecca explains. I volunteered to test the system directly after months of intelligence gathering. My experience matched exactly what our investigation predicted. The Justice Department official stands. We've seen enough. This evidence supports federal civil rights charges. Patterson looks around desperately. This is a misunderstanding. The program had legitimate public safety goals. I simply drove through a public checkpoint, Rebecca replies calmly. My rights were violated because of who I am and where I live, exactly like hundreds of other citizens. 1 week later, a congressional hearing room fills with observers, press, and officials. General Rebecca Morgan sits at the witness table in full dress uniform. 4 stars gleam on her shoulders. The committee chairperson calls the session to order. This hearing on civil rights enforcement in local policing will now begin. General Morgan, thank you for your testimony today. Rebecca adjusts her microphone. Thank you for the opportunity to address this committee. Please summarize the Pentagon's investigation into the Riverside Checkpoint Program. Rebecca presents the evidence methodically. The discriminatory checkpoint placements, the racial disparities in enforcement, the financial motivations behind the program. Our investigation confirms systematic Fourth Amendment violations. Citizens were detained, searched, and arrested without probable cause. When they attempted to assert their rights, they faced increased charges. A committee member interrupts. Why did this require Pentagon involvement rather than Justice Department action? The initial complaints came from military personnel. However, we quickly discovered that civilians faced identical treatment. We coordinated with Justice Department officials to ensure comprehensive investigation. The evidence unfolds on screen. Arrest statistics by race, search rates by neighborhood, conviction patterns showing clear discrimination. Most concerning was that the program operated with explicit city approval. Councilman Patterson personally directed police to target specific demographics. Another committee member leans forward. The current status of those involved. Councilman Patterson faces federal civil rights charges. Captain Harper and 5 officers have been indicted. The checkpoint program has been permanently terminated. She pauses. Most importantly, all convictions stemming from unconstitutional checkpoints are under review for expungement. The chairperson turns serious. What changes do you recommend to prevent similar abuses nationwide? First, independent oversight of checkpoint operations. Second, mandatory data collection on stops by demographic. Third, clear consequences for departments showing discriminatory patterns. She looks directly at the committee. Most importantly, we must recognize that constitutional rights aren't optional. They don't depend on race, neighborhood, or economic status. As the session concludes, the chairperson makes an announcement. Based on this investigation, we're introducing legislation establishing federal standards for checkpoint operations. The Equitable Enforcement Act will require transparency, accountability, and constitutional compliance. 2 months later, a community center in Oakmont. Residents gather for a town hall meeting with their new police chief. Rebecca, now in civilian clothes, sits quietly in the back. She watches as Chen, now a community liaison, facilitates dialogue between residents and police. The new chief announces reformed policies, body cameras always activated, stop data publicly available, community oversight board with real authority. After the meeting, an elderly resident approaches Rebecca. "You're the general, aren't you? The one who brought down those checkpoints." Rebecca smiles. "I just helped expose the truth." "You did more than that. My grandson was arrested at one of those checkpoints, lost his scholarship because of it. Now his record's cleared and he's back in college." "I'm glad to hear that. One thing I don't understand, you're a general. You could have used your rank from the beginning. Why go through the arrest?" "Because most people can't use rank or privilege to protect their rights. The system should work equally for everyone, not just those with status." The woman nods thoughtfully. "My grandson wants to be a lawyer now, says somebody needs to know the law to protect the community." "He's right. Knowing your rights is the first step to defending them." Outside, Chen waits to drive Rebecca to the airport, returning to the Pentagon. "Yes, but our civil rights oversight won't end with Riverside. This case established a template for identifying similar patterns nationwide." "The checkpoint is gone," Chen observes as they drive past its former location. Rebecca looks out at the community, families walking freely, residents no longer afraid of arbitrary enforcement. "This is what security actually looks like," she says. "Not checkpoints and harassment, just people living their lives with dignity and equal protection under the law." 6 months later, Pentagon conference room. General Rebecca Morgan stands before a wall of monitors displaying checkpoint data from cities nationwide. Colonel Rodriguez enters with fresh reports. Implementation of the new oversight protocols is proceeding as scheduled, General. 17 departments have voluntarily reformed checkpoint practices. And the resistors. Justice Department has opened investigations into 9 jurisdictions, showing similar patterns to Riverside. Rebecca studies the data. Red flags highlight familiar patterns. Checkpoints concentrated around minority neighborhoods, disparate enforcement statistics, complaint suppression. Her secure phone chimes. A text from Chen, Patterson sentenced today, 5 years federal, restitution ordered for checkpoint victims. Justice delayed but delivered. Her assistant enters. "General, your next appointment is here." A young black woman in Air Force uniform enters. Lieutenant Alicia Thompson, recently detained at a checkpoint outside Dover Air Force Base. "Lieutenant," Rebecca greets her, "thank you for reporting your experience." "General," Thompson salutes crisply, "I wasn't sure if it warranted attention until I heard about your Riverside operation. Every data point matters. Your report matches others from that jurisdiction." Thompson straightens. "What happens now, ma'am?" "Now we follow the evidence, document the pattern, ensure constitutional protections apply equally to everyone." She moves to the window, looking out at the Pentagon courtyard, where service members from all backgrounds serve a common mission. "The uniform doesn't protect us from discrimination, but it does give us the responsibility to uphold the Constitution, for ourselves, and for every citizen." Thompson nods. "That's why I reported it, not just for me." "Exactly. Systems only change when good people recognize injustice and take action." Rebecca returns to the data displays, to the work that continues. No checkpoints, no double standards, just equal justice under law. The map of America glows on the screen before her. Each indicator represents work to be done, communities waiting for fairness, rights requiring protection. General Rebecca, Morgan gets back to work.